Watch the whole video to find all the hidden anime girls. What higher level job do you think you could lie your way into with no experience and no one would notice? I did it. No experience whatsoever. Learned as I went. Was super nervous till I realized my boss knew less than me. What is an operations manager supposed to do? Or what did you do as one? Dude, I was literally going to say ops manager. I have never met one who has a ducking clue about anything. My dad went from forklift driver to VP of operations via a combination of asking and learning what his higher ups did, and lying that his general studies bachelor's degree was an economics degree. If we learned anything from the hit classic Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead, it's that it's super easy to lie on your resume and become a 17-year-old fashion designer. Wow, what a flashback of movie. I'm right on top of that, Rose. I'm a pretty good cook, but never worked in catering professionally, other than catering a few friends' parties. One day a small, but posh cafe near my kids' school put a sign saying they needed a head chef who made foodie foods, rather than classically made food, etc. I walked in, spoke with one half of the owners. The wife ran the retail part, the Italian classically trained soon-to-be ex-husband ran the kitchen, but was leaving soon. Told her I'm possibly what she's looking for, would she like a demonstration, etc. This was on a Thursday. She asked me to come back on the Monday with some dishes. Long story short, came back Monday and had the job by Thursday. Redesigned the menu, ran a team of 5, put all in place. Everyone loved the menu and food. And 7 weeks after starting I found that they didn't have a license to sell food. I bounced within 10 minutes of finding out. All in all, I was on the job 8 weeks running shit I've never done before. Proud achievement, but when I asked legit chef friends about it, who were way jealous I'd done that without any training or anything, they told me that at the very least I could be named in documents if the shop got in trouble for selling food. Edit. I'm gonna add a few details to clarify as I'm a crap writer. The place was a high-end ceramics cafe. This means that people went in to make ceramic things and be able to eat good food. The place had previously been known for its quality food as well as for the ceramics. This included ceramics parties for kids with a full lunch afterwards. I love food and have quite a few classically trained chefs friends. I would never disrespect the industry by trying this at a full-blown restaurant. That's not what this was. I'm a great home cook. The food that I made was all high quality meals that you would like at home, not restaurant style but home style. The staff that the place had hired were all art graduates and chefs no more than 2 years out of chef school. At 32 was the oldest member of staff, apart from the owners, by at least 6 years. One of the reasons I was able to do so well in those 7 weeks is that my 15 or so years as a home cook, 12 years in marriage and a few more at home as the oldest of 8 kids, meant that their 2 years out of culinary school didn't really work out as well for the type of food the cafe were going for. I'd previously been a sales manager, so handling a team and directing them wasn't new to me, and they were young and eager, so followed by not so complicated recipes down and did what was needed. Edit 2. As soon as I got the job I spent the week doing all the necessary health and safety and culinary food prep courses that are the majority legal requirements in the industry. My friend did this. Made me laugh. He never worked in the restaurant industry a day in his life, but was very charismatic and got a job at a very high-end posh restaurant as a chef. It just isn't that hard to find clueless/incompetent restaurant owners. It's one of the reasons so many restaurants fail. My dad told me that his first job out of technical school was at Enron. He had a good friend that worked there, so he was able to get an interview. My dad ends up lying on his resume, mostly regarding his experience and knowledge of software development. Once he arrives at the interview he takes notes on the technical questions that they're asking him as he bullshits his way through. Long story short, he gets the job and uses the notes he took during the interview to buy coding books. I believe they were O'Reilly, mostly because I remember thinking how cool the illustrations of the animals on the covers were. He would study the coding books cover to cover, learning how to do his job as he'd go along. He wound up doing very well there until Enron went bankrupt. Fortunately though, he found work as a lead software developer at a large electric services company and does very well for himself. TLDR, my dad lead to Enron and got a job. Now he doesn't work for Enron and still has a job. Edit. I didn't expect this much attention out of the comments, so hopefully I can clear some stuff up. The time period was the late 90s/early 2000s, so the demand for people that could do this type of work was a bit higher. His prior education prepared him pretty well for the interview, so he wasn't clueless like some of you seem to believe, but the job was more for people that were already experienced in the field with past career experience as a software developer, which is where he had to exaggerate the truth. His job before Enron was as a waiter at a pretty popular restaurant, but he was hit by surprise when my mom got pregnant with me, so he went to school and got a job. The rest, as they say, is history. He had the right idea: fake the interview, cram session until he can answer the questions, and study what he needed to hold the job. He could pass off his inexperience in the first 2 weeks as new job adjustment. It is a bold strategy, but he knows how to teach himself. He could have walked into almost any job and done that. There's something poetic about lying to get a job at Enron. Holistic health coach at your local vitamin, herb, and crystal shop. It's all about cleansing out the toxins. I know a guy that lied his way into a bunch of political campaigning jobs. He's in jail now though. Edit. He's a really shady guy in general. I think he went to jail for something fraud related, but yeah, he's been a campaign manager. 8. A bunch of politics stuff. First thing he ever said to me was, "Hey, you wanna try some high grade narcotics?" Then proceeded showing people naked pictures of his prostitute while she was standing right there. We had 4 penthouse rooms at this casino, a gift from some senator for some reason. Then he really starts treating the prostitute like shit, saying some of the worst things ever to her all night. Then she runs off and picks up some other guy. So the guy I know walks up to the guy she picked up, hands him a penthouse suite key, and says, "Here you ducking. Take her, real scum of the earth." That guy totally ruined my view of politics. Edit 2. Not Manafort. But when you're talking politics, the people that get caught are just the tip of the iceberg. Sounds like someone noticed. I know a guy like this too, but they made him president. Work in DC. Yay, that sounds like a Thursday. The only thing you can get in trouble for on Capitol Hill is getting caught with a dead hooker or a live boy. Emphasis on getting caught. Paul Manafort? Sounds like he was qualified. Head of a newspaper. Always just be in a rush and yell things at my underlings. Get me that scoop. Do what you gotta do to get me that story, kid. I need pictures of Spider-Man. Jameson being a dick to you again, Peter. Work for a newspaper. Aside from going to lunch for an hour and spending at least an hour in the men's room, I have no idea what my publisher does all day. You really can't work in print without a Spider-Man bias. It's what happens after decades of anti-wall crawler propaganda. I once bid a man. Not sure if high level, but paranormal investigator. Lying with conviction and charisma is one of the most important qualities one can have in that line of work. I watched a clip where the paranormal investigators built a ghost vacuum that was like exactly a vacuum with a clear plastic box. They were all sure it would suck up the ghosts and contain it in a clear plastic box. Apparently ghosts can come from the other side for hauntings, but plastic boxes will duck them up. I have friends who do this shit. They truly believe in their bullshit though. It saddens me beside their otherwise intelligent, scientific-minded people. Have you heard of psych? They asked me how well I understood theoretical physics. I said I had a theoretical degree in physics. They said, "Welcome aboard. Patrolling the Mojave almost makes me wish for a nuclear winter." This really happened to my roommate. He has a doctorate in nuclear engineering, and he got a job as a theoretical physicist. They asked him about his knowledge in theoretical physics, and he said, "Not very much," and they said, "It's easy, you'll catch on quick." I got the whole NCR suckling at my teats, and it feels so damn good. I imagine this button opens up a vault full of naked women. There's a guy called Gerd Postel here in Germany, who was a mailman, but lead his way up to become the head of a psychiatric, and kept this position for a long time. He didn't even study, and had the worst possible graduation. When I read the title of this poster, I had to think of him immediately. It's such a crazy and also concerning story. Edit. I like the reason he got discovered was that people in his hometown somehow got word of him and thought, "Isn't that guy the mailman?" Postal delivery man, goes postal in his post. Lied my way into a tech repair job. Asked my new boss if he could run me over their operating procedure with an example on the bench, and apart from putting my PC together had no real experience at all. But I watched and learned and asked for lots of second opinions in my first month. Never got noticed and got extra work from him using my software experience. I still freelance software solutions for him and his clients today, haha. My former principal was a business model guy and a big believer in cronyism. He replaced the greatest teacher tech person I have worked with a guy who was a friend of his and an English teacher who didn't want to teach. I went to him for a issue once. I watched him Google it. After that, I either googled it myself or called my friend if I needed help. That lasted about 2 years. The god-awful principal is gone, but he's still at our school, still not sure what he does. Honestly, the best way to get into an IT job isn't your experience or skills, but willingness to learn and ask questions. Some of the best co-workers I worked with were ones who had no experience starting, but asked lots of questions. Also, if you work in a corporate IT environment, be an absolute ducking nerd and or fan of sports, because holy shit, we are all massive nerds. Life coach. There's someone this year on Big Brother who describes herself as a life coach. She's 24. In her interview, she said something to the effect of, sometimes people ask me how I can be a life coach at 24 when I have no life experience, and then she just went off the crazy deep end with crystals, essential oils, and something about spirit guides. She was crazy and 100% lied her way into that job. Anyone breathed successfully for 2 decades would meet the necessary qualifications. I have a friend from high school who's a fertility life coach. I didn't even know that's a thing. According to her website, she uses Reiki healing and positive energy to manifest miracle babies. It sounds like a kind of support counselor, but subtract any actual training and add in some new age hippie dippy junk. I'm a video producer / editor for 24 years now. I could probably teach someone how to successfully edit and traffic broadcast quality commercials well enough in 4 to 5 days to make 50 to 60k at an edit house. Well, it so happens that I have 4 to 5 days to spare. Can confirm. Met a producer for a household name talk show host 5 years ago at a party where he told me they needed a new video editor. Told them I could edit, I couldn't, and he hired me on the spot. Spent the weekend looking at YouTube videos on how to edit. Started my career, and I now run the post-production department at a different production house. I don't know, but it sure seems like all the people who I have trained at my company in the last several years have been managers at their last job. I don't know if companies just give that title out to everyone, or people are padding their resumes, or what. Many companies use the term manager in their titles for sales positions. Customers feel better about being served by a manager than they do an associate. It also helps if you're in a position that requires negotiating, as people are more inclined to engage in negotiations with people they feel have the authority to negotiate. The art of manipulation. If you aren't lying on your resume, you aren't really trying. Companies always give out bloated titles. I'm a manager at my company, yet I manage no actual people. Comment what the best or worst story was. Also remember to subscribe for more Reddit and anime girls.